Welcome to another episode of DIOTALK. I'm DLS Talk. My guest of the evening is joining us all the way from Canada. Entrepreneur extraordinaire, Hunter, right?
Yes, sir.
He is the founder of Ruckup Media, but also the founder of this amazing wilderness app, Dryads. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Joel Pouliot. I
All
pronounce it
right,
right?
thank you. You got it, sir. You got it. You got it.
Boom. There you
One
go.
thing I am gonna test your knowledge on though. I wasn't a military vet. I was a private security contractor. I've been in the security industry for over 24 years right now. Spent 10 years of it in the Middle East and Africa, as I said, as a private security contractor. Had a son back here in Canada and basically started my security role over here as a director and operations manager, coordinator, and still doing the director job for a security company here. So yeah, it's been a long road, but I've enjoyed the security industry my entire life. That's kind of where the backbone of, I guess, the app, but we won't get into that right now. But that's kind of where the backbone came from, is where the mindset of operation type of mindset comes into play.
Boom. There you have it, gentlemen. I stand corrected.
It's okay, but that's a lot of people ask me that. They say, "Well,
You know
you're
what it is?
you're in the
Because,
military or law enforcement." I said,
yeah,
"Unfortunately, I'm the 1% that didn't go into law
yeah.
enforcement and the military."
You know what is it that I go to your Facebook profile and I see all these accolades and everything you're doing that I quickly assume that
Yeah,
he has to be some special ops or something because it's quite extraordinary, right? That you're doing all this security and have a rich history doing it so far.
yeah,
So
yeah, and I think
that's my bad.
no, no, not at all. And I think I try to make sure that people are aware of that because, like I said, that I don't want to take away from the veterans that have actually obviously done what they've done for their country. I didn't fly under a flag. I flew
Mhm.
under corporations when I worked overseas. So, but I was one of the fortunate ones, the what we call kind of the 1% of that
Yeah.
didn't have military or law enforcement. But I started in the security industry overseas very young. Like I was in my early 20s. Like I was
Wow.
just I didn't know anything. I knew a little bit about rifle training and like firearms and stuff like that, but I really didn't. I think I got more into the business side of being a security contractor overseas. So I worked a lot we call it an administrative specialist. I dealt with all the payroll and the hiring and firing and all that junk. So that was kind of where I suited up for the most part, but I also, unfortunately, didn't get to play in the most social places in the planet. So
Yeah,
just
I got it.
for a nice choice of words,
I got
but
it.
I think that it did teach me a lot, and it brought me up in this world of security. So
So like you transitioning, you started your own media company, right? What what inspired you to start is it Ruckup Media? Am I pronouncing
yeah,
that right? What
yeah.
was this transition with that?
Well, I've always really been good at tech. And again, the backbone of business, the kind of the entrepreneur in me wanted to do something that was, I guess, different. But some people would say, well, it's marketing, it's media, it's all the same. Well, we got into 360-degree virtual tours and websites. So that is where we kind of shine on the kind of the whole internet landscape. We do kind of customizable, yeah, like I said, virtual websites where you actually feel like you're immersed into the website rather than just looking at a 2D
Got it.
flat screen. So that's where we kind of got our backbone into. Then we started doing a little bit of game development, and then especially with VR. So VR is kind of our other niche as well. But the market right now for VR is just so saturated. There's just so much going on in it that it's just really not a profitable industry unless you're really, really got a team behind you and some money and capital. So that was unfortunately that, but it's still on the back burner. But for the most part, now we've launched our new app, which is Dryads, which has kind of been in the working for quite a while now. Um, can tell you a quick funny story about how that came about. So we were just up at our trailer up on some property, and I have this in the mornings and the nights I did this run just to get my workout in. And I'd head up to this gate. I'd come back about 5 or 6 times, and as I'm going back and forth, I'm seeing all these tracks on the ground and stuff because we're in the wilderness area.
Hmm.
There's nothing really around. And so I'm taking pictures of tracks, and I'm going on Gemini and all these AI apps, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell they are, and I can't find anything, and it's giving me like these vague descriptions. So I live in Canada. The chances of me seeing like a wildebeest is zero, but it would come up. It would say like, "Oh, this is a wildebeest," or "This is a
Yeah.
whatever this is," and I'm like, "No, that's not. It's clearly a deer. Like, why is it not?" So I was getting frustrated. And then I found some flowers, took the pictures of the flowers, and realized I had to download an app for that. And the app was
Hmm.
like $40 a month. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't really working how I wanted it to. And then a few feet later, I found a mushroom or fungi and took a picture of that, and it was the same thing. I had to download another app. So I was like, why isn't there something that just kind of takes everything that's in the wilderness, just kind of compresses it into one app, so that like if you're out camping or hiking or hunting, whatever it may be, whatever your profession is or your adventure, why can't you just find out what you're looking at? Like, it's silly. So went back to the trailer, opened up my laptop, and I knew a little bit of code, so I started coding it. And then after that, I was like, I got a little too far ahead of myself because there was a little bit of stuff that I just was way above my pay grade. So outsourced it and tried to find some people who I knew that were gonna be able to do the parts I couldn't do. And yeah, the rest is history. So we've released it. It's about 2 months old. It's
Oh
definitely
wow, two
helping.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's new. It's a baby in the industry right now. But they I'm getting good reviews about it. We've done tons and tons of information, a ridiculous amount of information in the machine learning in the background. So it's constantly learning. It's constantly trying to get better and better. But right now, it's pretty impressive on some of the things it can do. We've had campers take a picture of their tent next to the water and say, "How was my setup? Is there anything I should be worried about?" And the app will say, "Yeah, you need to worry about water levels, or it's going to rain, so you need to worry about soil erosion. So it's going to rain tonight, and it should be this amount of." And it'll just tell the camper everything they need to know about their situation and the environment they're in. And if they have any questions, they can ask the AI, and the AI will generate the information that they need. So, I mean, the outcome and the possibilities are endless. You can take a picture of your cupboards or your pantry and ask it to create a camping list for all your food, and it'll do that for you. And or if you have all your food set up in your campground, and take a picture of it and ask it to give you a recipe for a meal, it'll do that too. So everything from tracks to animal scat to animals themselves, different species of fungi, plants, trees. If you need to know about it, we'll tell you.
Wow. And yet it's only been 2 months. Imagine like if it when it takes becomes a year, how much updates, how much transition and evolve is gonna be. That's awesome. That's I like to go hiking once in a while, and you know, an app like that, like this one, the one you're providing, it's quite helpful, I must say.
Yeah, and we do definitely take into consideration of safety and security. I mean, hello, that's what I do for a
Hmm.
living. So a lot of the background stuff is based on survival, based on, your understanding of what you're getting into.
Hmm.
The reason it draws from your location and the weather, primarily when you ask it a question or take a picture, is because it's generating what is the best scenario for you in that situation, right? So if you're going out, okay, hunting's prime example. If I'm going hunting this weekend, and especially I'm in December, it's going to say, okay, well, this is the weather, this is the humidity, this is probably the snow levels, this is blah, blah, blah of the mountain that you're going to be hunting or hiking on. You should be aware of this. And then it'll give you your answer, whatever your answer is. But then at the bottom, it'll also say, "Oh, be sure to, pack with blah 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 blah," or whatever you need for that type of weather scenario as well. So we don't just give the answer. We give about 3 paragraphs, and within those 3 paragraphs, there might be a little blurbs here and there about safety and just making sure that they're aware of what they're getting themselves into. Because I think as somebody who goes hiking or as somebody who goes hunting, we think we know everything.
And not just that, because you can even if you're going fishing, like there's options, which I loved about it. Option depending on what you're doing, there's probably most likely an option for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Fishing, you can definitely use it for fishing as well. If you're going after trout, you just type in what's the best lures for trout, or in my area, where's the best places I can go trout fishing, and he'll tell you. But also too is like I said, we think we know everything when we go in the outdoors, but we always
Hmm.
forget something, or there's something that we oversee where this app kind of fills in that gap for everybody.
Is there any other app, and because it's research, right? Before you launch this, do you
Yeah,
see any other app uh that's like this? Besides AI, because there's a million AI apps, right?
yeah.
And I only ask this because I've looked for apps like this when I'm in my, doing my hiking, and I've never encountered such a advancement, right? And even
Yeah.
though it's only 2 months, it had so much yet potential to improve and to grow, which is, I think, remarkable.
Oh, absolutely. And I joke around with people. We're in phase two of seven right now. Like, and that's just the little ideas that we have. And so we still have so many phases to go before we
Yeah,
have our app developed the way we want to do it. I mean, after seven, we still got probably 1,000 left, but we have so many more ideas just in the next few months that need to be released on the app.
yeah,
More AI features, but as you were saying, comp like other apps that are similar to ours, yes, there are, but there's two different levels. There's the ones that are just generated for mapping and terrain and overlays and stuff, so that you, as somebody who's hiking, can advance their knowledge of wherever they're going just by looking at the mapping system and kind of putting in markers and stuff. So we do that. Our app does that. You can put in your custom markers and your icons and take pictures and all that stuff. And then we've also obviously integrated the AI portion, which nobody's done yet.
hmm,
And but like I mentioned before, like when I was thinking of the app, there's all these AI apps out there, but they all do one thing. Like they all did flowers, or they all did fungi, or they all did like it was never. I couldn't just pick
yeah.
up one
It's
app and
always individual. It's not inclusive unless you download
exactly.
something, and not even because if you download something like a Chat GPT, you're just asking them a question. They're
Yeah.
not. It's an overall answer. It's not focused on a certain particular thing.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the question I get asked the most about ChatGPT and Gemini. And they're like, well, why don't I just use that? Well, you can,
It's
but
not
as I
made for
just,
that.
it's not made for that. It's getting all the information all around the world, where ours is centralizing where you are, first of all, to what you would generally find out in the wild. Like you're up here in Canada, I'm not going to find a palm tree.
Hmm.
So it's not going to tell me that what I'm looking at is a palm tree. Whereas if you did ChatGPT or Gemini, because of the fact that it's so diverse that it's just kind of guessing what that is in front of you, and it'll say,
Yeah.
well, this could be a palm tree, this could be a pine tree, this could be blah blah blah. And most of the time with machine learning and these big systems is they'll tell you it's a tree. That's it, because it's defining what is in front of you. It'll say, if you have a picture of a tree, a car, and a house, it's going to say, well, inside this picture is a tree, a car, and a house, because that's what it's told to look for.
Hmm.
Ours is told to look for tracks, scat, rubs, trees. Like ours is told to look for specific items,
Hmm.
not everything, right? So we have a little bit different of an approach on what we want our AI models to do.
Would it be something like that it because I can imagine it has location, that's what it's key, right? It
Yeah,
can adapt to or inform you once it scans your location, informs you whatever your surroundings.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
along those lines, correct?
Yeah. So if you're saying, what is the closest trail to me? It'll tell you what the closest trail is to you, or what's the closest. And that's why when we do like fishing, is a really good example.
Hmm.
Where's the best place to go trout fishing around my area? It'll tell you where the best places are for trout fishing. Or we also dumped in all the fishing regulations and hunting regulations in the back end for Canada, United States,
Wow.
England, New Zealand, and Australia. So if you're a hunter or a fisher or angler in your state and you are looking for what are the regulations for bass fishing in my zone, my wildlife management zone, it'll bring up all the fishing regulations for bass in your zone. So like I said, the machine learning that's in our background is just exorbitant compared to what most apps would have because we're looking at this from an outside perspective, an outdoors person's perspective of what they would want. So
Got
every
it.
time we think of something else that
Yeah.
an outdoors person would want to ask, we got to dump it in the back end so the back end can learn it too.
This app has so much potential. I wish I can afford to invest in it because like I'm like as you're speaking, I'm thinking about like so much ideas. Like right now,
Yeah,
I bought this watch, which is like, a watch that you will go to hunting or the wilderness, right? And
yeah,
it has a button that you click and automatically it sets out SOS.
you're right.
Like that app could do that if it had the potential to do that as well, right? So
Oh
like
yeah,
if you get stuck, you get hurt, and you know, click of a button, it scans something, it does something. How that works, I don't know, right? But
yeah,
like
yeah.
it calls, it shows a signal.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely possible. Like right now, what some people say too is, well, does it work offline? No, it doesn't work offline because it's grabbing, like I said, that
Not
exuberant
yet,
amount of information.
not yet.
So that's where we lean with that because
Hmm.
you think about how fast technology is going and how fast like the iPhones 18 was it the 18s already can do satellite
Yeah,
messaging as well too. So like we're only a few years away. We, Dryads, just needs
hmm,
to wait. It just needs everybody else to catch up to us.
yeah.
So that's the
Well,
way we're looking at
not
it.
if you use like you can incorporate somewhere in form like is it Starlink? Well,
Yep,
Elon Musk,
absolutely. Yep,
and where a lot of hunters I've seen are using that now, and
yep,
where they're out in the wilderness hunting, shit ggets real, whatever.
yep,
They get bored right after they hunt something down and they're in their campsite cooking up and they get bored, want to watch or hear something. That is useful. So if you could
yep.
connect somewhere like that, I don't know. I'm just spitballing right now, but it has potential, and you don't have to wait that far.
Oh, exactly. And I know a lot of hunters that have the mobile version of Starlink on their vehicles. So that's,
Yeah,
or on their RVs or whatever it may be. So that's like, you're 100% correct. Yeah. And for us, like, again, that data dump that we need to do to give the user that information is not that far away.
yeah,
Um, but when they're hooked up to data or on Wi-Fi or whatever it may be, they're getting their information instantaneous. Plus, we allow for pictures to be uploaded instead of just taking a photo. So you can always take a picture of whatever you need to take it back
yeah,
to, hit back to camp, and just upload it and ask the question you need to ask if you have to.
yeah.
But for us, we're usually pretty much in Signal anyway. So,
Yeah.
I
Are
mean,
you
it's
as a up and coming company? Are you seeking investors for those listening or watching for your app to grow? Because
absolutely.
a good investor can come and that possibility of we gotta wait till there could come faster than you know it.
Yeah, no, we will never turn down any conversation. How about that?
Boom, there you
So,
have it.
so, so yeah, no, we always will. And I think that obviously in business, investment is important, whether it's yours or somebody else's money. But right now we are in such an infancy stage that anybody who comes in now would probably be pretty happy in a few years from now. There's no doubt about that.
Mhm. Even like as I was looking at going through it today, it's fascinating. Interface a little bit more easier,
Yeah.
but that's for somebody like me that doesn't know. But somebody like in
That's
your
that's in the
experience, they
track.
they
No, but
know what they're
that's
doing.
no, but you're right, and we've already taken that consideration
Hmm.
from our audience and our users, and that's something that's coming in phase three, which is a easier interface for everybody,
Yeah,
because what we wanted was the introduction to the app. The first time you open it, you see a bunch of text, right? And so
mhm.
what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach people that don't know how to use AI how to talk to AI, right? Because
Mm,
you're not talking to AI like you do Google, right? You should be talking to AI as if it was your friend. Hey, I want to know about A, B, C. Where can I find it? What's the weather going to be like, and where should I go? Like, but you wouldn't. That's not how you would ask Google, right?
Yeah.
You would ask it like, "What's the weather tomorrow?" You'd get the answer. "I'm looking for this." You get the answer. And that's the other thing too is when what we wanted to do is we wanted to teach everybody, but there's an easier way of doing that. So the UI has got to get changed for that, or the
Hmm.
XI, the XU, sorry. So that will be changed. But in the argument of also using Google to do your
Hmm.
research and find out about information, I don't know about you, but I spend about probably 50, 60 times the amount of time that I should be trying to find something in like page 9 of Google or
Yeah.
the Facebook forum that's so deep that nobody can find it. And then as a hunter or an angler, you ask a question on some of these groups and you just get ridiculed. You get ripped apart. Where we're giving the answers to people in a
Yeah.
faster form, not showing them a bunch of ads. We're not showing them, you're not searching through all these Google pages to find it. It's just there in front of you.
Yeah. That's what I like about it. Even like for somebody like me that doesn't know, I can see it can be a little challenging, but somebody with experience, like, and even that, because like hiking, when I open the app and then I see the interface, like it said hiking, boom, I click on, I know that, right? So I click on it. So it's like everything you need, it's right there.
Yeah,
And you don't need to like, where do I go for hiking or go out? It's right there, which is interface is kind of, overwhelming, but it's easy.
yeah,
You don't have to search for it. It's right there. And sometimes that is convenient.
yes, yeah, absolutely. And we try to make it accessible for everybody. And like I said, the more you know about how to ask the questions,
Yeah.
the better the questions are, or the answers that are going to come back to you.
Yeah, no, I like where you're moving forward because you like essentially you're trying to create like a more fluent conversation. You're trying to talk to it and talk back rather
Yeah,
than Google or Siri or Alexa. You're just, hey Alexa, yes, do this. They're giving you a simple answer. What you is you want a more fluent informative conversation
yeah,
to be informed
yeah,
essentially, which is not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, and I think that with us, we are giving you more details than you would in a short Alexa answer. Like,
Yes.
so for example, if you're going hiking, hey, what should I pack this weekend for hiking? It's not just going to say, well, you should pack shoes, tent. Like it's going to say, well, the weather this weekend's going to be blah, 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 blah. You're going to this area and this is what you should pack. And then it'll list the type of shoes, that not the brand, because we're not selling you on stuff, right?
Mhm.
But it'll list the type of shoes, the type of tent, because if you're going in the wintertime, well, you can't just use a summer tent for the winter. So it's going to tell you that. It's going to tell you what type of provisions you should pack. And then it's going to tell you some safety measures and all that other stuff. So it's not just giving you the run of the mill same answer you get from Google or anything else. It's giving you a detailed information about what you should do in the case scenario that you're going to go camping in a situation that you might not be prepared for.
Boom. Got it.
So
Listen, I think this fucking is gonna be an incredible app. Like
thanks, brother.
this, there's the potential, like the potential just for brands, like yeah, all in one shop.
Yeah,
You don't have to go so far or browse through websites or apps to look for where you're like. When I first just going like, I wanted some hiking boots, right?
yeah,
Looking, I'm going on Amazon and I'm just searching, and there's just different types of boots, right?
yeah,
Like nothing's the same, right? It's like I like New Balance, right? So like New Balance, I want some running sneakers, but they're 5 or 6, and then this one has number, and this one's for traction. This one, so like if you could find it one in one place, and then you look for it, and it give you this is the recommend. This is what you need for something like this.
yeah. So we do that.
You know?
Dryads does that right now. So what we do is if you ask, now see, we don't sell you stuff, but if you're asking about it, that's a different question, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to throw ads in your face, but if you're asking us a question about brands and you said, I'm going hiking this weekend, and I'll keep using that kind of that same generic term just because a lot of people understand what I'm going with it. But if you said, I'm going hiking this weekend, what is the best boot to should I buy or should I wear? It'll give you brands and it'll tell you why for the scenario that you're
Yeah.
going hunting in or hiking again. Again, it's going to tell you you're going hiking in the middle of December it's going to be minus 30 degrees wherever it is, or it's going to be 40 degrees. You should be wearing these type of boots. Danner makes a really good model. This is the type of Danner boot that would suit your hiking need this weekend and stuff like that. It will do that, and it'll give you a list of like 10 different types of boots that you should buy. So that will do that only if you ask it. We're not going to shove an ad down your face if you don't ask it. So that's the thing.
Mm. And where
Yeah.
can they find these apps? Where can they find the app?
So you can download the app. We're on App Store, and we are also on Google. I'll give your listeners 1 month free. So we'll give them a code at the end of this for sure. And it'll probably be in the show notes if that works for you.
Yeah,
And absolutely. So we're dryads.app is where you can go. So www.dryads.app. And we're on Apple and Google. So we're everywhere. Well, not
convenient.
everywhere, but
Boom.
it's convenient.
I saw you did you were doing at one point a podcast, right?
I
Which
was doing a podcast for a year, yeah, a couple of years. I got into it, but life got a little busy because I was
Mm.
just a little bit before COVID. So yeah, and in the security industry during COVID, we were a little chaotic. So I unfortunately didn't have the time to master it or get it off the ground very far.
What was it called? Because even though you're currently it's
It
on pause, right? You're still out there.
Yeah, it's still Ruckup. It was under the Ruckup brand. Yeah,
Nice. And
yeah,
that's the name of the show?
yeah. It was the name of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one that's like you're talking about your experience or somebody's experience of hunting, or sharing a story.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think I think you should if you get a chance keep doing it, man. I think especially you could talk about the app, plug in the app, free
yeah,
promotion.
yeah.
But also like there's a lot of like I don't even though is a niche, I don't see a lot of people talking about hiking or nothing like their experience with the outdoors, which is it's highly important because like I live in the city, but I grew up in Puerto Rico, so what I seen over there is totally different here. And what I talk to people about, they look at me like I got like three heads, right?
Right.
So to get that stigma out and for people to feel more comfortable having that sense of exploration out, I think there should be platforms like yours
Yeah.
to be able to talk about those things when you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's funny that you mentioned hiking as a podcast. There's not a lot of people that discuss, I mean, there's a lot of travel podcasts, right? But there's
Yeah,
not a lot of outdoor podcasts. There's a lot of hunting podcasts, a lot of fishing podcasts.
yeah,
But again, there's not a lot of just like all of them in one, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
They're more just generalized to, or not generalized, sorry, specific like niches, like you said.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
like especially with the app, like I'm someone who wants to become a future hunter, right? I've never gone hunting in my entire life. I'm someone who's as getting older, I would like to experience do it, right?
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, I had for a lot of years I had a like bad taste in my mouth because
Yep.
I grew up in Puerto Rico. I grew up with people that hunted. I can't remember the name of the bird, but every November, September to November, there's bird season over there, and they'll go hunting. And
Yep.
unfortunately for me, like they were very careless, right, when it
Yep.
came to their firearms, and they were drinking while they were hunting, and I just discarded from the rest of my life. But as I go on older, I'm seeing how other people do things and breaking that stigma.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I've been through somewhat similar of a scenario. Not in Puerto Rico, obviously,
Yeah,
but I've been around people who I don't feel comfortable with
yeah,
hunting, and being in that atmosphere just it doesn't make me want to go out the next day. I'm more of a solo hunter personally, but what the app does for people that are learning to get into hunting or angling or hiking or whatever it may be, it gives them the independence to research themselves without, again, like I was talking about, like the Facebook forums and stuff,
hmm
where I've seen people ask a question that they generally just don't know, and they're just ripped apart.
yeah,
And it's just like, this is not helping our community
yeah.
by
Very
ridiculing these
discouraging.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I bet you that person's not going to go out again, or they might try again. Like you
hmm
mentioned, you had a bad time, and it doesn't give the people that courage to go out and learn. unfortunately. Where our app, yeah, it's not a community-based app, but it will give you the information that you need to get yourself going so that you don't have to feel that ridicule.
Yeah, informative, which is the most important thing.
Yeah,
Uh, and not a lot of apps do that. Like mentioned, like the rules, regulations, that's very important. A lot of people tend to do whatever they want,
yeah,
and a lot of people who try it are not informed. Like they don't know that there's certain season you could go hunting for this, and
exactly.
or you shouldn't hunt this because it's protected.
Yep,
So that's what I think I love about your app is that it's informative, not community, but you build it. If you build it,
yep.
they will come.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the information piece when it comes to the regulations around hunting, they regulations, when you pick up that regulation book, it can be very, very daunting. Like you have to really know what you're reading and what you're getting into. Like obviously you go into hunting, you take a hunting course, and that kind
Mhm.
of gives you the tools you need to understand the manuals, but they're buried in information that is sometimes exuberant and
Yeah, not
hard to.
straightforward.
It's
Not
not. It's
straightforward.
it's really really not. Like as a new hunter, yeah, you might be able to get away with it, but if you've never picked up a rifle before and you just went through your hunting course and now you're given the manual and said, "Hey, go at it," it's not cut and dry. Like it's not
Hmm.
that easy. So when you ask a question in Dryads, it gives you the cut and dry answer from the manual or from the synops or the hunting regulations of your state. That's it, full stop. Like we give that information to the hunter. We had a hunter actually a couple of weeks ago that said he asked a question about going hunting 2 weekends from whenever he was, and he's like, and he was just asking a question about what type of white-tailed deer and all this stuff. And it was funny because the Dryads came back with kind of a little synopsis in there said, like, don't forget it's youth season that weekend. And he's like, oh, he's like, I wouldn't even have figured that out until I got up
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
and got my tree stand all prepared. And then I opened up my reg book and he was like, I would have had to take everything down and drive 100 or yeah, 100
Hmm.
miles back. And he was like, luckily I had that information. So again, that goes on to our conversation earlier about, we think that we know everything when we go into the
Yeah.
woods, but we sometimes forget just the simple things. So,
That can work with a calendar.
yep,
Like you just I'm here talking like if it could tag onto your calendar, then you can put like in the calendar because I don't know, maybe because I'm
yep,
an adult now. I'm always using I'm always using the calendar. But
yep,
like how you look at the calendar and it's like, okay, this shows you this day is it's celebrating something, right?
yep,
Same thing for the hunting season. This season, like a color or whatever. I don't know, man.
yep,
But it has so much potential.
yep. Add on to your calendars
I'm
all the information.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited for it.
well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep, it's going well so far. We got quite a few downloads, quite a few people with experience testing it out. Like I said to everybody, if you break it, let me know because we got to fix it. So that's what we're here to do.
I mean, but that's the most important part, right? Get it out there. Like feedback's very important because
Yes,
how would you know how to keep it better? And an app is always evolving, always changing, always uploading. Nothing is set in stone, you know?
always. I couldn't agree more.
Get
Yeah,
some sponsors, put them on those base stores, hunting stores, like very important, very beneficial. Only
yeah.
good things.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So, yeah, so it's exciting times for us. We're learning a lot. AI is moving faster than we can catch up sometimes.
Hmm.
So we're trying to lead the way in the outdoor community with the AI information that we're doing,
Yeah.
and constantly just building up our machine learning. That's all we can do right now, and just work for the best.
How long did it take to have it up and running, like ready to publish on
About
the App
two
Store?
months, um, because I had already done a lot on the back end. Like I mentioned, I kind of knew I knew what my goal was and what I wanted. There was just certain things like the image recognition I was a little rusty on and stuff like that. So I had to get somebody else, but it took about 2 months from I'd say 2.5, 3 months from start to finish. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Anything new we can await from the app?
I'm not going to give away too many details because we're with the AI kind of being a little bit of a little bit of a golden goose for us, and we
Yeah.
don't want our competitors knowing too much about how we're doing it.
Oh,
But other
definitely,
than that,
definitely.
I think that we're definitely pushing some AI features to integrate with the mapping system. So that'll be really cool. There'll be like some AI features within your map. So that'll be neat. And we're going to make things a little less hands-on for people, a little bit more voice controlled or even text controlled. So we plan on that. So there's some definitely some really key things that are coming up. And like we said, the UI is going to definitely change. So that's going to be an update. But there are tons and tons of AI features that we're going to be throwing in the next few months that will definitely, it'll be nothing like what it looks like now.
That's nice. What is one thing you would like to tell listeners or viewers about this app and on why they should get this app? Like I already know why. I already got it.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, so I think that if you're somebody who either a beginner, novice, or expert that's going out in the wilderness and you're just not sure about things, or you want to learn more, or you want to be prepared, this is the app for you. It's something that is extremely robust. Like I said, it's geared towards your state or province or country. And I think that at the end of the day, it's there to help you and support you and be a tool as you're out in the outdoors. And as we know, sometimes the tools are the most beneficial that we have. Whether it be something to light a campfire or something to guide us along the tracks that we're taking. And also too is it helps you to record information. So if you see we have a history you can go through. If you find a type of fungus or something and you want to remember it later on, or you're somebody who has a garden and you want to keep on track, because you can take a picture of your garden right now and take a picture of your plants it's dying and say, how can I bring this plant back to life? It'll tell you what plant it is, and it'll tell you what you should be doing to make sure that that plant or what defects that plant might be having. So it works on that. It works on animal tracks, just about anything you could possibly imagine. If you're stepping outdoors, this is an app for you.
I definitely recommend that. I'm on the app right now, just messing around with it, right? So it offers so many things.
Yeah,
Hunting, fishing, trekking, off-road, like you said, suggestions, gear and tech. Uh, man, so many things, right?
yeah.
Um, what I like about it, one of my favorite things about the app is I like your logo. I love the woman that likes what would you call her? The
She is a
mother,
dryad.
Mother Nature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A dryad is a woman of the wilderness, like a wisdom woman of the wilderness. That's what the definition more so is.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
and we have a mapping system on there too. So if you're lost your way, you can just click on the map and find where you are, or do your research on the map too, and push on the center of the screen and put a put an icon there and explain what it is, and later on you can use it later. So there's tons of features already, but there'll be more coming very soon.
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of
Only a
time.
matter of
Yep.
time.
Yeah. No, it is. Absolutely.
And I want to say like the VR, I think that's only a matter of time too because it's right now it's like it's something fresh in the market, right?
Yeah.
And right the most popular features to use it on is it's Facebook, Meta World, is it Meta
Yeah.
World? I don't know what you call it, but but eventually like it's a possibility because things fall out, like only
Yep.
the good quality will sustain, and once that all the bad graphics or whatever you call it will
Yeah.
fall off, and it's still opportunity. It's everything is growth.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I agree. There's a time for everything, and hopefully the time comes back. I see it as a novelty right now, but I think that coming in the future, I think it will be another big tool that we'll use. Hopefully they get rid of the kind of the big bulky headsets.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's what's kind of deterring a lot of people. And then I've noticed that it's the graphics again. If you're playing video games and
yeah,
stuff, it's just not there yet for a lot of people. So
yeah. I think like Samsung came out with that first. That
yeah,
you would buy a phone. I think it was a Samsung 7, and you bought a phone, and there it came with the mask, and you put the
yeah,
phone to connect to the phone. I
yeah,
still got like two here, but it's super fun. For me personally, I just like having something over my eyes and
yeah.
try to break from the brain tricks. But no,
Yeah,
I think it's dope. I think it's super cool
yeah,
that you're doing that and you're venturing out to that. So, we gotta, wait to see.
yeah. Maybe we'll integrate the app with VR too. Who knows?
That'll be super cool. That'll be super cool. People
Yeah,
will definitely won't leave their house now.
yeah, yeah.
So you're a hunter, right? How is it over there in Canada? Uh,
It's good. We have so I tell this story a lot on podcasts, but it's interesting because we have to so on the back end of our machine learning, we had to dump all I said, like the regulations and stuff. So the other thing we have to also enter in is all the map data that you guys have. So
mhm,
for US has private and public land. But it's interesting because as a Canadian, we don't have that much private land. So we basically hunt anywhere. Whereas the States is just private land everywhere, right? So it's interesting to see like the demographic or the geological regions of Canada where you can hunt compared to some of the little spots in some of the little states in the US that you can hunt. So it's just interesting to see that. I think the differences in rules and regulations between Canada and the States is pretty much the same. Like it's not a lot different. I know years go from state to state as well, same as ours up here is province to province, but for the most part, I think that it makes sense on how most of the regulations are set. So for us here, it's not much different. We still have obviously like you guys do like certain days of the year that you can go
mhm.
hunting and youth hunting and we have fowl hunting and whitetails pretty big up here too. So it's pretty similar. It's like we share the same landscape really. So it's just basically we're just the neighbors to the north. That's about it.
Yeah, you should definitely link up with this gentleman called Krusty Canuck,
Okay.
the Krusty Canuck podcast. He's
Yeah.
mostly into politics and whatnot, but he's Canadian too. He's up there.
Yeah.
Help you with the app. Put it more out there. It's a
Yeah. Absolutely.
great product. He goes hunting. I know him. I talk to him from time to time too. Um, yeah, man.
Yeah. I'll reach out
More
to
out
him for
there. Yeah.
sure.
I'll
Yeah.
send you his Instagram. But yeah, man, it's an amazing app. I recommend it. I got it. So like, keep pushing forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We will for sure.
Is there anything we missed that do you want to point out?
No, I think actually we've actually covered quite a bit to be honest with you, and I appreciate you having me on. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, yeah, we are always looking for investors, but we are happy with the push that we got so far. And if you step foot on the outdoors, we're there for you. So Dryads.app. You can find us just about on every platform. So
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Social media, website
social media
that
is
that the people
Ruckup
know.
Media is Ruckup Media. So if you go to Ruckup Media, I got about 110,000 on TikTok, and about 25 on Instagram and 25 on Facebook. So yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, X. What's the new one? The new one's Blue Sky or something like that, or Blue Orbit, whatever that one is. Yeah, so we're all over the place. So it's Ruckup Media. And if you want to go to our website, it's ruckupmedia.com. The app again is www.dryads.app. And that's basically all of our socials there.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to go download the app today. If you want to experience the wilderness like I have, like he has, go download the app to date. Make sure you follow him on social media. Go shout him out. Show some love and support. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Mr. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel, DIOTALK TV. Follow us on Facebook, Mr. No, Dio Mark King DS. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.